Damn. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
Damn it.
Damn, that was close.
Damn, I knew I should have brought an umbrella.
Damn, I left my keys at home.
Damn, I missed the deadline.
Damn. Chikusho. Essentially. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
Essentially, the two theories are the same.
She is essentially a kind person.
They are essentially students.
The job is essentially an office job.
The car is essentially new.
Essentially. Honshitsu techi ni. Abide. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He abided by the rules.
She abided by the law.
They abided by the contract.
The citizen abided by the government.
The employee abided by the employer.
Abide. Mamoru. Abstain. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He abstained from smoking.
She abstained from alcohol.
They abstained from meat.
The country abstained from the vote.
The student abstained from the exam.
Abstain. Hikaru. Accuse. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He accused her of stealing his wallet.
She accused him of lying.
They accused the company of fraud.
The witness accused the suspect of the crime.
The teacher accused the student of cheating.
Accuse. Fukuhatsu suru. Acknowledge. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He acknowledged his mistake.
She acknowledged the fact.
They acknowledged the problem.
He acknowledged his responsibility.
She acknowledged his point of view.
Acknowledge. Mitomeru. Conscience. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He acted on his conscience.
She followed her conscience.
They had a clear conscience.
He had a guilty conscience.
She had a clear conscience.
Conscience. Ryoshin. Adapt. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He adapted to the new environment.
She adapted to the new culture.
He adapted to the new job.
She adapted to the new lifestyle.
He adapted to the new technology.
Adapt. Techio usuru. Adjust. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He adjusted the thermostat for comfort.
She adjusted the seat for height.
They adjusted the schedule for the meeting.
The mechanic fine-tuned the engine.
The optometrist adjusted the glasses for a better fit.
Adjust. Chosei suru. Puppy. Kano tango no imi wa nandesho.
He adopted a puppy.
She rescued a puppy.
He trained a puppy.
She loved a puppy.
He played with a puppy.
Puppy. Koinu. Analyze. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He analyzed the data to find trends.
She analyzed the results of the experiment.
They analyzed the market to make a prediction.
The scientist analyzed the sample to determine its composition.
The researcher analyzed the survey data to draw conclusions.
Analyze. Bun sechi suru. Append. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He appended a note to the letter.
She appended a file to the email.
He appended a chapter to the book.
She appended a picture to the album.
He appended a signature to the document.
Append. Tenpu suru. Zeal. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He approached the job with great zeal.
The team played with zeal.
She tackled the project with great zeal.
He had a zeal for learning.
The company is known for its zeal in innovation.
Zeal. Netsui. Promptly. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He arrived promptly for the meeting.
She replied promptly to the email.
The package was delivered promptly.
The service was promptly attended to.
The work was completed promptly.
Promptly. Jinso kunyi. Consent. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He asked for her consent before proposing.
The parents gave their consent for their daughter to marry.
The patient gave his consent for the surgery.
The government needs the consent of the people to pass the law.
The employee gave his consent for the background check.
Consent. Doi suru. Assist. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He assisted her in carrying the groceries.
She assisted him in fixing the car.
He assisted the team in winning the game.
She assisted the patient in recovery.
He assisted the company in expanding.
Assist. Ainjo suru. Assure. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He assured her of his love and commitment.
She assured him of her support and loyalty.
They assured us of their dedication and reliability.
The company assured the customer of the product's quality.
The government assured the citizen of the safety measures in place.
Assure. Hoshosuru. Remaining. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He ate the remaining pizza.
She finished the remaining work.
They sold the remaining tickets.
The company used the remaining budget.
The patient took the remaining medication.
Remaining. Nokori no. Pale. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He became pale after seeing the ghost.
She became pale after hearing the news.
They became pale after the accident.
The sky was pale at dawn.
The flowers were pale in the moonlight.
Pale. Aozameru. Betray. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He betrayed his country.
She betrayed her best friend.
They betrayed their partners.
He betrayed his wife's trust.
The company betrayed its customers.
Betray. Urajiru. Build. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He built a house.
She built a bridge.
He built a car.
She built a robot.
He built a website.
Build. Tateru. Site. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He cited the book as the source.
She cited the article as the evidence.
They cited the report as the reference.
The lawyer cited the law as the precedent.
The teacher cited the study as the support.
Site. Inyosuru. Compose. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He composed a symphony.
She composed a poem.
He composed an email to his boss.
The committee composed a report.
The artist composed a painting.
Compose. Sakchoku suru. Contribute. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He contributed money to the charity.
She contributed her time to the volunteer work.
They contributed their skills to the project.
The company contributed to the school.
The government contributed to the relief effort.
Contribute. Kokensuru. Convince. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He convinced her to go on a date with him.
She convinced him to try the new restaurant.
They convinced us to join their team.
The salesman convinced the customer to buy the product.
The lawyer convinced the jury of the defendant's innocence.
Convince. Setoku suru. Coordinate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He coordinated the project.
She coordinated the event.
He coordinated the team.
She coordinated the resources.
He coordinated the schedule.
Coordinate. Choseisuru. Justify. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He couldn't justify his actions.
She tried to justify her behavior.
They tried to justify their decision.
The company tried to justify the price increase.
The student tried to justify their absence.
Justify. Seto ka suru. Riddle. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He couldn't solve the riddle.
The riddle had a double meaning.
The riddle was a test of intelligence.
The riddle was a popular game.
The riddle was an ancient mystery.
Riddle. Nazo nazo. Cram. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He crammed the suitcase with clothes.
She crammed the bag with books.
They crammed the fridge with food.
The student crammed for the exam.
The traveler crammed the itinerary.
Cram. Sumekomu. Creep. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He crept into the room.
She crept up behind him.
He crept through the forest.
She crept through the dark.
He crept across the floor.
Creep. Shinobiuru. Curse. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He cursed under his breath.
She cursed him for his bad behavior.
The villagers cursed the witch.
The sailors cursed the storm.
The driver cursed the traffic.
Curse. Nono shiru. Defy. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He defied the authority.
She defied the norm.
They defied the expectations.
The rebel defied the government.
The athlete defied the record.
Defy. Hanko suru. Derive. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He derived great pleasure from reading.
She derived satisfaction from helping others.
They derived their income from their business.
The company derived its profits from the sale of the product.
The scientists derived the theory from the data.
Derive. Eru. Deserve. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He deserves to be recognized for his hard work.
She deserves a promotion.
They deserve a vacation.
The company deserves to be successful.
The teacher deserves a raise.
Deserve. Atai suru. Stupid. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He did something stupid.
She said something stupid.
They made a stupid mistake.
The idea is stupid.
The joke is stupid.
Stupid. Bakana. Disassemble. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He disassembled the engine to see what was wrong.
She disassembled the furniture to move it.
The technician disassembled the computer to fix it.
The soldier disassembled his weapon before cleaning it.
The kids disassembled the toy to see how it worked.
Disassemble. Bunkai suru. Dismiss. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He dismissed the idea as unrealistic.
She dismissed the suggestion as unnecessary.
They dismissed the proposal as too risky.
The judge dismissed the case.
The company dismissed the employee for misconduct.
Dismiss. Chakasuru. Casually. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He dressed casually.
She talked casually.
He acted casually.
She walked casually.
He greeted casually.
Casually. Chirakunyi. Dwell. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He dwells in the city.
She dwells in the countryside.
They dwell in the apartment.
The bird dwells in the nest.
The bee dwells in the hive.
Dwell. Sumu. Eats. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He eats cereal for breakfast.
She eats vegetables.
They eat meat.
The lion eats the gazelle.
The bird eats the worm.
Eats. Taberu. Eliminate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He eliminated the errors from the report.
She eliminated the unnecessary items from her diet.
They eliminated the weeds from the garden.
The company eliminated the toxic chemicals from its products.
The virus was eliminated from the patient.
Eliminate. Sakujo suru. Emphasize. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He emphasized the importance of the deadline.
She emphasized the need for more research.
They emphasized the benefits of the plan.
He emphasized the role of the team.
She emphasized the quality of the product.
Emphasize. Chocho suru. Encounter. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He encountered a bear on the hike.
She encountered a celebrity at the party.
They encountered a problem with the car.
The soldier encountered the enemy on the battlefield.
The traveler encountered many cultures on their journey.
Encounter. Dekuwasu. Ensure. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He ensured the safety of the passengers.
She ensured the quality of the product.
He ensured the success of the project.
She ensured the accuracy of the report.
He ensured the fairness of the trial.
Ensure. Kakujitsu ni suru. Erect. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He erected a fence around the property.
The company erected a new building.
They erected a statue in the park.
The tent was erected quickly.
He erected a barrier to block the road.
Erect. Tateru. Expose. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He exposed the fraud that was happening within the company.
She exposed the corruption within the government.
They exposed the scandal involving the celebrity.
The journalist exposed the truth about the cover-up.
The activist exposed the injustice happening in the community.
Expose. Bakuro suru. Ashamed. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He felt ashamed of his behavior.
She was ashamed of her past.
They were ashamed of their country.
He was ashamed of his mistakes.
She was ashamed of her ignorance.
Ashamed. Hajiji teiru. Disgust. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He felt disgust at the sight of the rotting food.
She felt disgust at the smell of the garbage.
He felt disgust at the taste of the spoiled milk.
She felt disgust at the thought of the injustice.
He felt disgust at the behavior of the bully.
Disgust. Hinokan. Embarrassment. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He felt embarrassment when he realized his mistake.
Her embarrassment was obvious when she stuttered.
The incident caused embarrassment for the company.
He tried to hide his embarrassment.
The embarrassment was palpable when the lights went out.
Embarrassment. Hazukashisa. Guilt. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He felt guilt for his actions and apologized.
She felt guilt for breaking the promise.
They felt guilt for neglecting their duties.
He felt guilt for cheating on the exam.
She felt guilt for betraying her friend.
Guilt. Zayaku kan. Recommendation. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He gave a recommendation for the job.
She gave a recommendation for the school.
He gave a recommendation for the restaurant.
She gave a recommendation for the book.
He gave a recommendation for the movie.
Recommendation. Sui sen. Grin. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He grinned when he heard the joke.
The cat grinned with a mouth full of fish.
He couldn't help but grin when he saw her.
She had a grin on her face the whole time.
He had a silly grin on his face.
Grin. Ni kori wara u. Charm. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He had a charm that made him popular.
The charm of the old city.
She wore a charm on a necklace.
The charm of the countryside.
The charm of the small town.
Charm. Miryoku. Expectation. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He had high expectations for the meeting.
The expectation was that the work would be finished on time.
The expectation of the parents is that their children will be successful.
The expectation of the company was that the new product would sell well.
The expectation of the guests was that the party would be fun.
Expectation. Chitai. Liver. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He had liver disease.
The liver is the largest organ in the body.
She had a liver transplant.
The liver is responsible for filtering the blood.
He had to avoid alcohol to protect his liver.
Liver. Kanzo. Wrinkle. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He had wrinkles on his face.
She had wrinkles on her hands.
He had wrinkles on his forehead.
She had wrinkles around her eyes.
He had wrinkles on his neck.
Wrinkle. Shiwa. Follower. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He has a large number of followers on social media.
She is a follower of the Buddhist religion.
He is a follower of the latest fashion trends.
She is a follower of the company's CEO.
He is a follower of the school's sports team.
Follower. Sui jusha. Intellect. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He has a sharp intellect.
She has a great intellect.
They have a strong intellect.
He has a weak intellect.
She has a brilliant intellect.
Intellect. Chisei. Shield. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He held up a shield to protect himself.
The shield was made of metal.
The shield had a design on it.
The shield was used in battle.
The shield was put up to protect the building.
Shield. Tate. Hesitate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He hesitated to speak.
She hesitated to act.
He hesitated to ask.
She hesitated to decide.
He hesitated to trust.
Hesitate. Tame rao. Initiate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He initiated the project.
She initiated the plan.
He initiated the conversation.
She initiated the meeting.
He initiated the relationship.
Initiate. Hajimeru. Colleague. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He is a colleague of mine at the company.
She is a colleague of mine in the department.
They are colleagues at the law firm.
He is a colleague of mine at the university.
She is a colleague of mine in the research group.
Colleague. Do Rio. Coward. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He is a coward.
She is a coward.
He acted like a coward.
She showed cowardice in the face of danger.
His cowardice cost the team the game.
Coward. Okubyomo no. Publisher. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He is a publisher of books.
She is a publisher of magazines.
He is a publisher of newspapers.
She is a publisher of journals.
He is a publisher of comics.
Publisher. Shupan Sha. Club. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He joined a photography club.
She was a member of the book club.
The club had a meeting once a week.
The club organized a trip.
The club had a website.
Club. Kurabu. Kneel. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He knelt down to propose to her.
The soldiers knelt before the king.
She knelt to pray in the church.
He knelt to tie his shoelaces.
The players knelt in protest.
Kneel. Hizamazuku. Hut. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He lived in a hut in the jungle.
She lived in a hut in the mountains.
He lived in a hut by the sea.
She lived in a hut on the island.
He lived in a hut in the desert.
Hut. Koya. Addition. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He made an addition to the list.
She made an addition to the recipe.
He made an addition to the collection.
She made an addition to the garden.
He made an addition to the team.
Addition. Suika. Omit. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He omitted some important details in his report.
She omitted the sugar from the recipe to make it healthier.
The teacher omitted the final question from the exam.
He omitted her name from the list of invitees.
They omitted the last chapter from the book when it was translated.
Omit. Shoryaku suru. Organ. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He played the organ at church.
The organ has many different stops.
She is going to take organ lessons.
The sound of the organ filled the cathedral.
The organ is one of the oldest instruments.
Organ. Arugan. Prolong. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He prolonged his stay in the country.
She prolonged her life with medication.
They prolonged the meeting with additional discussion.
The company prolonged the contract with a renewal clause.
The drought prolonged the water shortage.
Prolong. Ain chosuru. React. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He reacted angrily to the news.
She reacted calmly to the crisis.
They reacted with surprise to the announcement.
The audience reacted positively to the performance.
The stock market reacted negatively to the news.
React. Han no usuru. Article. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He read an interesting article in the newspaper.
She wrote an article for the school magazine.
He published an article in the journal.
She presented an article at the conference.
He submitted an article for the contest.
Article. Chiji. Resign. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He resigned from the company and the farewell was emotional.
She resigned from the committee and the reason was personal.
They resigned from the team and the departure was regretful.
He resigned from the post and the new opportunity was waiting.
She resigned from the presidency and the successor was elected.
Resign. Jinyin suru. Merrily. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He sang merrily.
She danced merrily.
He played merrily.
She laughed merrily.
He lived merrily.
Merrily. Yochin yi. Restraint. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He showed restraint in the face of provocation.
The restraint of the military.
The restraint of the government.
The restraint of the economy.
The restraint of the media.
Restraint. Yokusei. Arcade. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He spent the afternoon playing games at the arcade.
The arcade was filled with the sounds of pinball machines.
The arcade was a popular spot for teenagers.
The arcade had a retro feel to it.
She loved to walk through the arcade on a rainy day.
Arcade. Akedo. Strive. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He strived for success in his career.
She strived for excellence in her studies.
They strived for peace in the region.
He strived for perfection in his work.
She strived for fairness in her decisions.
Strive. Doryokusuru. Stump. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He tripped over a tree stump.
The stump was covered in moss.
The stump was used as a makeshift seat.
The stump was carved into a statue.
The stump was removed by a stump grinder.
Stump. Chiri kabu. Aquarium. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He visited the aquarium.
She visited the aquarium.
He bought a fish for the aquarium.
She cleaned the aquarium.
He fed the fish in the aquarium.
Aquarium. Suizokukan. Addict. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was a drug addict.
She was a gambling addict.
He was a shopping addict.
She was a social media addict.
He was a video game addict.
Addict. Judoku sha. Pioneer. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was a pioneer in the field.
She was a pioneer in the industry.
He was a pioneer in the science.
She was a pioneer in the art.
He was a pioneer in the technology.
Pioneer. Senku sha. Accountant. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was an accountant for a large company.
She was an accountant for a small business.
He was an accountant for a nonprofit organization.
She was an accountant for a government agency.
He was an accountant for a family-owned business.
Accountant. Fakeishi. Banish. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was banished from the kingdom.
She was banished from the community.
They were banished from the city.
The criminal was banished from the country.
The emperor banished the traitor.
Banish. Suihosuru. Cautious. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was cautious about the investment.
She was cautious about the stranger.
They were cautious about the new product.
He was cautious about the storm.
She was cautious about the food.
Cautious. Yojin bukai. Courageous. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was courageous in the face of danger.
She was courageous during the crisis.
He was courageous in his beliefs.
She was courageous in her actions.
He was courageous in his decisions.
Courageous. Yukana. Cowardly. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was criticized for his cowardly behavior.
The Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz.
The cowardly act was condemned.
His cowardly attitude made him unpopular.
The cowardly dog ran away from the fight.
Cowardly. Okubyona. Doubtful. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was doubtful about the plan.
She was doubtful about the proposal.
He was doubtful about the story.
She was doubtful about the evidence.
He was doubtful about the outcome.
Doubtful. Utagawashi. Denial. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was in denial about his addiction.
She was in denial about her illness.
He was in denial about his mistake.
She was in denial about her feelings.
He was in denial about his responsibility.
Denial. Hite. Moderate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
He was moderate in his approach.
She was moderate in her opinion.
He was moderate in his attitude.
She was moderate in her reaction.
He was moderate in his demands.
Moderate. Hechidona. Obedient. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He was obedient to his parents.
She was obedient to her teacher.
He was obedient to his boss.
She was obedient to her husband.
He was obedient to his leader.
Obedient. Juju na. Ancestor. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He was proud of his ancestor and the heritage was rich.
She was interested in her ancestor and the history was fascinating.
They were curious about their ancestor and the genealogy was researched.
He was honored by his ancestor and the legacy was continued.
She was inspired by her ancestor and the achievements were remarkable.
Ancestor. Seinzo. Cloak. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
He was wearing a cloak to keep warm.
The cloak was made of wool.
The cloak was used to hide his identity.
The cloak had a hood.
The cloak was black in color.
Cloak. Manto. Enable. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
His help enabled her to finish the project.
Her encouragement enabled him to persevere.
His support enabled her to succeed.
Her advice enabled him to improve.
His guidance enabled her to progress.
Enable. Kano ni suru. Ignorance. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
His ignorance of the law.
Her ignorance of the facts.
His ignorance of the language.
Her ignorance of the culture.
His ignorance of the danger.
Ignorance. Muchi. Sensitivity. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
His sensitivity to music.
Her sensitivity to color.
His sensitivity to light.
Her sensitivity to sound.
His sensitivity to taste.
Sensitivity. Kanju se. Virtue. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
Honesty is a virtue.
Diligence is a virtue.
Kindness is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue.
Courage is a virtue.
Virtue. Itoku. Laugh. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
I couldn't help but laugh at the joke.
The baby's laugh was infectious.
His laugh was deep and hearty.
She had a musical laugh.
The audience's laughter filled the room.
Laugh. Warau. Miss. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
I missed the bus.
I missed the point of the lecture.
I missed the deadline for the project.
I missed my chance to ask her out.
I missed the opportunity to invest in that company.
Miss. Nogasu. Laundry. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
I need to do the laundry.
The laundry room is in the basement.
She took the laundry out to dry.
The hotel offers a laundry service.
He folded the laundry after it was dry.
Laundry. Sentaku. Beforehand. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
I prepared everything beforehand.
I was told beforehand.
He warned me beforehand.
We discussed the details beforehand.
I had the tickets beforehand.
Beforehand. Ma emote. Unfold. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
I unfolded the map to plan our route.
The story unfolds in an unexpected way.
The concert will unfold over 2 days.
He unfolded the newspaper and began to read.
The mystery unfolds little by little.
Unfold. Tenkai suru. Decorate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
I'm going to decorate the living room for the party.
The Christmas tree is decorated with lights and ornaments.
The cake was beautifully decorated with frosting and fruit.
The store window was decorated with a winter theme.
She decorated the room with her own paintings.
Decorate. Kazaru. Triumph. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
It was a triumph for the team.
The company's new product was a triumph.
The book was a triumph of literature.
The actor's performance was a triumph.
The experiment was a triumph of science.
Triumph. Shiori. Scarcely. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
Scarcely had he sat down when the phone rang.
Scarcely anyone came to the party.
Scarcely any progress was made on the project.
Scarcely a day goes by without news of some disaster.
Scarcely had I closed my eyes when the alarm went off.
Scarcely. Hotondo nai. Assume. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She assumed the role of the manager and the responsibility was huge.
He assumed the duty of the captain and the leadership was crucial.
They assumed the task of the volunteers and the service was appreciated.
She assumed the position of the chair and the authority was granted.
He assumed the responsibility of the father and the love was unconditional.
Assume. Hichiyu keru. Exclaim. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She exclaimed with joy when she saw the present.
He exclaimed in anger when he saw the damage.
The crowd exclaimed in awe at the sight of the fireworks.
She exclaimed in surprise when she found the money.
He exclaimed in frustration when he realized the mistake.
Exclaim. Sakebu. Work out. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She had a workout at the gym every day.
He had a workout in the park.
The team had a workout before the game.
The dancer had a workout at the studio.
The athlete had a workout at the training center.
Workout. Torei Nyingusuru. Character. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She has a strong character and never gives up.
He is a character and always makes people laugh.
The main character in the book is a young girl.
The characters in the movie were well developed and relatable.
She has a unique character that sets her apart from others.
Character. Seikaku. Concerned. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was concerned about the safety of her family.
He was concerned about the future of the company.
The parents were concerned about the education of their children.
The citizens were concerned about the environment.
The doctor was concerned about the health of the patient.
Concerned. Shinpai shiteiru. Faithful. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was faithful to her husband.
The dog was faithful and always by its owner's side.
He was faithful to his friends.
The company was faithful to its customers.
She was faithful to her promises.
Faithful. Chujitsu na. Acceptance. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was filled with acceptance and love for herself.
The acceptance of the award was a great honor.
The acceptance of the offer was a relief.
The acceptance of the terms was necessary for the deal.
The acceptance of the invitation was appreciated.
Acceptance. Juyo. Arithmetic. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was good at arithmetic and loved solving math problems.
He was weak in arithmetic and needed help with his homework.
The arithmetic test was difficult and challenging.
The arithmetic book was comprehensive and covered all the basics.
The arithmetic lesson was taught in the math class.
Arithmetic. Sansu. Sweetheart. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was his sweetheart and they were in love.
The couple was each other's sweetheart.
The child was her parents' sweetheart.
The dog was his owner's sweetheart.
The flower was her sweetheart and she admired it.
Sweetheart. Koibito. Mature. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was mature for her age.
The company was mature and well established.
The wine was mature and ready to drink.
The tree was mature and had a full canopy.
The relationship was mature and stable.
Mature. Seijuku shita. Passionate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was passionate about her work.
He was passionate about music.
She was passionate about her beliefs.
The crowd was passionate about the game.
He was passionate about his art.
Passionate. Jonetsu techi na. Wrongly. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
She was wrongly accused and the truth was revealed.
He was wrongly convicted and the justice was served.
They were wrongly blamed and the mistake was corrected.
She was wrongly punished and the injustice was exposed.
He was wrongly dismissed and the appeal was filed.
Wrongly. Ayamate. Alliance. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The alliance between the two countries.
The alliance between the two companies.
The alliance between the two parties.
The alliance between the two groups.
The alliance between the two people.
Alliance. Dome. Civilization. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The ancient civilization was known for its pyramids.
The modern civilization is becoming more technologically advanced.
The Western civilization has greatly influenced the world.
The Indus Valley civilization was one of the earliest in the world.
The Mayan civilization was known for its advanced mathematics and astronomy.
Civilization. Unmei. Classify. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The animals were classified and the species were identified.
The plants were classified and the families were recognized.
The minerals were classified and the elements were determined.
The books were classified and the subjects were organized.
The crimes were classified and the severity was assessed.
Classify. Bunruisuru. Approximate. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The approximate cost of the project is $50,000.
The approximate time of arrival is 2 p.m.
He gave me an approximate answer.
She estimated the length of the book to be approximately 300 pages.
The size of the room is approximately 12 square meters.
Approximate. O yoso no. Ash. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The ash of the cigarette.
The ash of the wood.
The ash of the volcano.
The ash of the meteor.
The ash of the campfire.
Ash. High. Atmosphere. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The atmosphere of the earth.
The atmosphere of the moon.
The atmosphere of the Mars.
The atmosphere of the Venus.
The atmosphere of the Jupiter.
Atmosphere. Tai Chi. Attribute. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The attribute of kindness was admired by everyone.
The attribute of intelligence was valued by society.
The attribute of honesty was appreciated by her friends.
The attribute of courage was respected by the soldiers.
The attribute of beauty was admired by the artist.
Attribute. Zoku sei. Phenomenon. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The aurora borealis is a natural phenomenon.
The stock market crash was a phenomenon.
The popularity of the book was a phenomenon.
The traffic jam was a phenomenon.
The drought was a phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Gensho. Authority. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The authority was given to the manager to make decisions.
The authority was challenged and the rights were defended.
The authority was respected and obeyed by the people.
The authority was questioned and the legitimacy was tested.
The authority was transferred and the responsibility was changed.
Authority. Kengen. Batter. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The batter was prepared and the pancakes were cooked.
The batter was poured and the waffles were made.
The batter was mixed and the cakes were baked.
The batter was thick and the coating was crispy.
The batter was thin and the pancakes were thin.
Batter. Chiji. Fly. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The bird flew high in the sky.
The plane flew across the ocean.
The kite flew in the wind.
The butterfly flew from flower to flower.
The drone flew over the city.
Fly. Tobu. Alongside. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The boat was moored alongside the dock.
They walked alongside the river.
He stood alongside her.
The new building was constructed alongside the old one.
The car was parked alongside the curb.
Alongside. Narande. Belonging. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The book is a belonging of the library.
The car is a belonging of the company.
The house is a belonging of the family.
The land is a belonging of the tribe.
The ring is a belonging of the bride.
Belonging. Shoyubutsu. Grain. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The bread is made from wheat grain.
The rice is a grain.
The corn is a grain.
The barley is a grain.
The oats are a grain.
Grain. Kokumotsu. Budget. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The budget was limited and they had to save money.
The budget was approved and the project could proceed.
The budget was allocated for the expenses.
The budget was revised and improved.
The budget was balanced and met the requirements.
Budget. Yosan. Burial. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The burial was a private ceremony.
The burial was held in a cemetery.
The burial was attended by family and friends.
The burial was according to his wishes.
The burial was in a mausoleum.
Burial. Miso. Profitable. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The business was profitable and growing.
The investment was profitable and worth the risk.
The company was profitable and expanding.
The product was profitable and in high demand.
The partnership was profitable and successful.
Profitable. Rieichi no aru. Fast. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The car was fast.
The train was fast.
The bird was fast.
He was fast on his feet.
She was fast with her hands.
Fast. Hayai. Scratch. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The cat scratched the couch with its claws.
He scratched his head in confusion.
The dog scratched the fleas off its skin.
The rock scratched the glass and broke it.
She scratched her name on the wall with a pen.
Scratch. Kaku. Circulation. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The circulation was improved and the health was enhanced.
The circulation was restricted and the pain was felt.
The circulation was improved and the comfort was increased.
The circulation was impaired and the symptoms were severe.
The circulation was enhanced and the performance was improved.
Circulation. Junkan. Comet. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The comet will pass close to Earth.
The comet was first observed in ancient times.
The comet's tail points away from the sun.
The comet's nucleus is composed of ice and dust.
The comet's orbit is long and elliptical.
Comet. Suisei. Dynamic. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The company has a dynamic CEO.
The market is dynamic and always changing.
The economy is dynamic, with ups and downs.
The class is dynamic, with students participating actively.
The relationship is dynamic, always evolving.
Dynamic. Dotechi na. Evolve. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The company has evolved over the years.
The technology has evolved rapidly.
The society has evolved culturally.
The species has evolved biologically.
The market has evolved dynamically.
Evolve. Shinkasuru. Dominant. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The company is the dominant player in the market.
The team has a dominant presence in the league.
The leader has a dominant personality.
The culture is dominant in the region.
The gene is dominant in the species.
Dominant. Shiwa itechina. Recruit. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The company recruited new employees.
The army recruited soldiers.
The school recruited new students.
The team recruited new players.
The band recruited new members.
Recruit. Boshu Suru. Bankrupt. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The company went bankrupt and the employees were laid off.
The bank was declared bankrupt and the depositors were worried.
The businessman was bankrupt and the debts were unpaid.
The country was bankrupt and the economy was struggling.
The individual was bankrupt and the future was uncertain.
Bankrupt. Wasan shita. Congress. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The Congress was held to discuss the budget.
The Congress was attended by the delegates from all over the world.
The Congress was adjourned and the decision was postponed.
The Congress was adjourned and the agreement was reached.
The Congress was adjourned and the resolution was passed.
Congress. Jikai. Consciousness. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The consciousness was regained and the patient was awake.
The consciousness was lost and the victim was unconscious.
The consciousness was raised and the awareness was increased.
The consciousness was elevated and the spirituality was attained.
The consciousness was expanded and the knowledge was acquired.
Consciousness. Ishichi. Finalize. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The contract was finalized and the deal was done.
The plan was finalized and the execution was underway.
The proposal was finalized and the presentation was ready.
The agreement was finalized and the terms were agreed upon.
The preparations were finalized and the event was set.
Finalize. Awara Seru. Convention. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The convention was attended and the knowledge was gained.
The convention was organized and the participants were welcomed.
The convention was cancelled and the disappointment was expressed.
The convention was postponed and the inconvenience was minimized.
The convention was hosted and the opportunity was created.
Convention. Kaiji. Conventional. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The conventional way of doing things.
The conventional wisdom.
The conventional method.
The conventional approach.
The conventional thinking.
Conventional. Jurai no. Corruption. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The corruption in the government is getting worse.
The corruption of the data caused the system to crash.
The corruption of the youth is a serious problem.
The corruption of the files was discovered by the IT department.
The corruption of the company's values led to its downfall.
Corruption. Fuhai. Cosmos. Kano tango no imi wa, non-desho.
The cosmos was vast and the mysteries were endless.
The cosmos was studied and the discoveries were made.
The cosmos was beautiful and the awe was inspiring.
The cosmos was complex and the challenges were formidable.
The cosmos was orderly and the laws were understood.
Cricket. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The cricket sang all night long.
The child caught a cricket in the field.
The cricket is a symbol of good luck.
The cricket match was cancelled due to rain.
The cricket played a vital role in the ecosystem.
Cricket. Koroji. Cucumber. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The cucumber was sliced and added to the salad.
The cucumber was pickled and served as a snack.
The cucumber was peeled and cut into pieces.
The cucumber was refreshing and quenched the thirst.
The cucumber was nutritious and provided essential vitamins.
Cucumber. Churi. Currency. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The currency used in the country is the dollar.
The currency of the European Union is the euro.
The currency used in Japan is the yen.
The currency of China is the renminbi.
The currency of Mexico is the peso.
Currency. Suka. Decided. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The decision was made and the plan was set.
The vote was taken and the winner was decided.
The case was heard and the verdict was decided.
The dispute was settled and the agreement was decided.
The election was held and the winner was decided.
Decided. Keteshita. Descent. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The descent of the airplane was smooth.
The descent into madness.
The descent of the economy.
The descent of the mountain was steep.
The descent of the temperature.
Descent. Coca. Genuine. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The diamond was genuine.
The gold was genuine.
The product was genuine.
The certificate was genuine.
The feelings were genuine.
Genuine. Honmono no. Confuse. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The directions were confusing and the destination was missed.
The information was confusing and the decision was delayed.
The situation was confusing and the reaction was slow.
The language was confusing and the communication was broken.
The instructions were confusing and the task was abandoned.
Confuse. Konran saseru. Fatal. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The disease was fatal.
The accident was fatal.
The mistake was fatal for the project.
The blow was fatal for the boxer.
The error was fatal for the computer.
Fatal. Jime techi na. Revive. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The doctor revived the patient with CPR.
The rain revived the dry earth.
The music revived the party guests.
The sun revived the flowers in the garden.
The wind revived the sails on the boat.
Revive. Ichikaira seru. Deprive. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The drought deprived the farmers of water.
The government deprived the people of their rights.
The thief deprived the store of its profits.
The storm deprived the town of electricity.
The illness deprived her of her ability to work.
Deprive. Ubao. Electronics. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The electronics industry is booming and the innovation is constant.
The electronics market is expanding and the demand is increasing.
The electronics store is crowded and the customers are searching.
The electronics gadgets are advanced and the features are impressive.
The electronics engineering is challenging and the skills are required.
Electronics. Denshichichi. Emphasis. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The emphasis was placed on the quality and the standards were high.
The emphasis was shifted and the focus was changed.
The emphasis was given to the details and the accuracy was ensured.
The emphasis was removed and the importance was diminished.
The emphasis was added and the impact was increased.
Emphasis. Chocho. Invade. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The enemy invaded the country.
The aliens invaded the earth.
The company invaded the market with their new product.
The bacteria invaded the host cell.
The insects invaded the garden.
Invade. Shinryaku suru. Evaluation. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The evaluation of the project was positive.
The evaluation of the employees' performance was good.
The evaluation of the program's effectiveness was inconclusive.
The evaluation of the school's curriculum was done by an independent agency.
The evaluation of the book was mixed.
Evaluation. Hoka. Exploration. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The expedition was an exploration of the Amazon rainforest.
The study was an exploration of the effects of the drug.
The project was an exploration of the solar system.
The book was an exploration of the human mind.
The journey was an exploration of the unknown.
Exploration. Tonken. Exposure. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The exposure to the sun can cause sunburn.
The exposure to the virus can cause infection.
The exposure to the new culture was exciting.
The exposure to the new technology was beneficial.
The exposure to the new ideas was enlightening.
Exposure. Bakuro. Federal. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The federal government.
The federal law.
The federal system.
The federal election.
The federal budget.
Federal. Renpono. Flesh. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The flesh was soft and tender on the fish.
The flesh was cut and the wound was bleeding.
The flesh was eaten and the bones were left.
The flesh was bruised and the pain was intense.
The flesh was burned and the skin was charred.
Flesh. Niku. Focus. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The focus of the investigation.
The focus of the attention.
The focus of the debate.
The focus of the camera.
The focus of the energy.
Focus. Shoten. Distribute. Kano tango no imi wa nan desho.
The food was distributed and the hunger was satisfied.
The wealth was distributed and the poverty was reduced.
The tasks were distributed and the workload was balanced.
The resources were distributed and the needs were met.
The books were distributed and the knowledge was shared.
Distribute. Haifusuru. Forehead. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The forehead was covered with sweat and he was tired.
The forehead was touched and the blessing was given.
The forehead was wrinkled and the expression was worried.
The forehead was smooth and the skin was clear.
The forehead was kissed and the love was shown.
Forehead. Hitai. Fraction. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The fraction was calculated and the answer was obtained.
The fraction was simplified and the expression was reduced.
The fraction was converted and the percentage was found.
The fraction was added and the sum was obtained.
The fraction was multiplied and the product was found.
Fraction. Bunsu. Framework. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The framework for the research project was set.
The framework for the building was approved.
The framework for the business plan was presented.
The framework for the curriculum was developed.
The framework for the website was designed.
Framework. Wakugumi. Handle. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The handle was grasped and the door was opened.
The handle was turned and the lock was opened.
The handle was lifted and the box was moved.
The handle was broken and the bag was discarded.
The handle was comfortable and the tool was used.
Handle. Tote. Hardship. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The hardship was endured and the strength was tested.
The hardship was overcome and the success was achieved.
The hardship was shared and the burden was lightened.
The hardship was faced and the courage was displayed.
The hardship was remembered and the lessons were learned.
Hardship. Honan. Nightmare. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The horror movie gave him a nightmare.
The accident was a nightmare for the victim.
The exam was a nightmare for the student.
The experience was a nightmare for the soldier.
The situation was a nightmare for the family.
Nightmare. Akumu. Imperial. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The Imperial Palace is a popular tourist attraction.
The imperial army was defeated by the rebels.
The imperial family was overthrown in the revolution.
The imperial throne was passed down through the generations.
The imperial era was a time of great prosperity and culture.
Imperial. Tekoku no. Severely. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The injury was severely and the treatment was required.
The storm was severely and the damage was extensive.
The criticism was severely and the impact was profound.
The competition was severely and the pressure was high.
The punishment was severely and the deterrent was effective.
Severely. Chibishiku. Internal. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The internal organs of the body.
The internal structure of the building.
The internal politics of the company.
The internal combustion engine.
The internal debate on the matter.
Internal. Naibu no. Irony. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The irony of the situation was not lost on him.
The irony of the coincidence was striking.
The irony of the outcome was astounding.
The irony of the performance was comical.
The irony of the statement was sarcasm.
Irony. Hinyiku. Laborer. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The laborers worked hard in the fields.
The laborer was paid a low wage.
The laborer was injured on the job.
The laborer was proud of his work.
The laborer was happy to have a job.
Laborer. Rodo sha. Impose. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The law imposed restrictions on the freedom of speech.
The situation imposed stress on her and she needed help.
The burden imposed a heavy load on his back.
The rule imposed a penalty on those who broke it.
The demand imposed a pressure on her and she was overwhelmed.
Impose. Kasu. Representation. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The lawyer was the representation of the defendant.
The ambassador was the representation of the country.
The student was the representation of the class.
The committee was the representation of the community.
The actor was the representation of the character.
Representation. Daiho. Active. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The lifestyle was active and the health was maintained.
The volunteer was active and the community was served.
The team was active and the goal was achieved.
The participant was active and the event was enjoyed.
The member was active and the organization was supported.
Active. Kapatsu na. Liquid. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The liquid was poured and the glass was filled.
The liquid was spilled and the table was stained.
The liquid was heated and the temperature was raised.
The liquid was cooled and the refreshment was enjoyed.
The liquid was mixed and the solution was prepared.
Liquid. Echita e. Logic. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The logic of his argument was sound.
The logic of the plan was questionable.
The logic of the computer program was flawed.
The logic of the game was simple.
The logic of the system was complex.
Logic. Ronri. Maiden. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The maiden was beautiful and the prince was captivated.
The maiden was shy and the knight was respectful.
The maiden was adventurous and the journey was exciting.
The maiden was cheerful and the friends were happy.
The maiden was kind and the poor were grateful.
Maiden. Otome. Flexibility. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The material has good flexibility.
The company has a policy of flexibility in working hours.
The schedule is flexible to accommodate everyone's needs.
The company needs more flexibility in its budget.
The program is designed for flexibility and scalability.
Flexibility. Junan say. Miracle. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The miracle was witnessed and the faith was strengthened.
The miracle was performed and the crowds were amazed.
The miracle was requested and the prayer was answered.
The miracle was questioned and the skepticism was expressed.
The miracle was celebrated and the gratitude was expressed.
Miracle. Chisei chi. Unwittingly. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The mistake was made unwillingly and the apology was offered.
The secret was revealed unwillingly and the trust was broken.
The trouble was caused unwillingly and the regret was expressed.
The harm was done unwillingly and the compensation was sought.
The insult was given unwillingly and the offense was taken.
Unwittingly. Ukari. Need. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The need was urgent and the help was required.
The need was great and the resources were limited.
The need was expressed and the request was made.
The need was recognized and the solution was found.
The need was persistent and the demand was high.
Need. Hitsuyo. Outcome. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The outcome of the election was uncertain.
The outcome of the experiment was positive.
The outcome of the negotiation was successful.
The outcome of the game was a tie.
The outcome of the treatment was not satisfactory.
Outcome. Kekka. Outward. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The outward journey was long and tiring.
The outward appearance was impressive and elegant.
The outward expression was calm and composed.
The outward behavior was polite and courteous.
The outward direction was west and the destination was unknown.
Outward. Gaiko teichina. Admiration. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The painting is worthy of admiration.
The athletes received admiration from the crowd.
He looked at her with admiration.
The work was done with great admiration.
The chef's work was admired by everyone.
Admiration. Shosan. Leak. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The pipe leaked water and flooded the basement.
The bottle leaked oil and stained the floor.
The boat leaked and took on water.
The roof leaked and dripped on the floor.
The tire leaked air and went flat.
Leak. Moreru. Prevention. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The prevention of the disease was a priority.
The prevention of the fire was crucial.
The prevention of the accident was a matter of safety.
The prevention of the spread of the virus was important.
The prevention of the loss of life was the goal.
Prevention. Yobo. Confine. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The prisoner was confined to the cell and the freedom was restricted.
The disease was confined to the area and the spread was controlled.
The fire was confined to the building and the damage was minimal.
The discussion was confined to the topic and the focus was maintained.
The noise was confined to the room and the disturbance was reduced.
Confine. Tojiko meru. Defect. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The product was recalled due to a defect in the design.
The dress had a small defect, a tear on the hemline.
The building had several defects, the roof leaked.
The car had a defect, it wouldn't start.
The phone had a defect, it wouldn't charge.
Defect. Kekken. Consistent. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The quality was consistent and the reputation was maintained.
The performance was consistent and the success was achieved.
The behavior was consistent and the trust was earned.
The results were consistent and the reliability was established.
The attitude was consistent and the commitment was demonstrated.
Consistent. Ikkanshita. Flavor. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The recipe called for a specific flavor of extract.
The ice cream had a fruity flavor.
The dish had a spicy flavor.
The drink had a strong flavor.
The soup had a bland flavor.
Flavor. Fumi. Resort. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The resort was luxurious and the vacation was relaxing.
The resort was crowded and the atmosphere was lively.
The resort was isolated and the peace was disturbed.
The resort was affordable and the budget was suitable.
The resort was well equipped and the activities were abundant.
Resort. Risotto. Empire. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The Roman Empire was one of the greatest empires in history.
The empire was ruled by a powerful emperor.
The empire was vast and diverse.
The empire was known for its military might.
The empire was in decline.
Empire. Tekoku. Mess. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The room was in a mess.
The kitchen was in a mess.
The office was in a mess.
The garden was in a mess.
The house was in a mess.
Mess. Mechaku-cha. Rubbish. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The rubbish was thrown in the bin.
The rubbish was collected by the truck.
The rubbish was piling up.
The rubbish was taken to the landfill.
The rubbish was recycled.
Rubbish. Gomi. Sprinkle. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The salt was sprinkled and the flavor was enhanced.
The sugar was sprinkled and the sweetness was increased.
The water was sprinkled and the plants were watered.
The flour was sprinkled and the dough was prepared.
The confetti was sprinkled and the party was started.
Sprinkle. Furikakeru. Horse. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The sandpaper was coarse.
The cloth was coarse.
The wool was coarse.
The hair was coarse.
The voice was coarse.
Horse. Ri. Dramatically. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The situation changed dramatically and the outcome was uncertain.
The weather improved dramatically and the sun came out.
The mood changed dramatically and the atmosphere was tense.
The performance improved dramatically and the audience was impressed.
The results improved dramatically and the progress was made.
Dramatically. Gechi ni. Install. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The software was installed on the computer.
The cabinets were installed in the kitchen.
The TV was installed in the living room.
The doors were installed in the house.
The fence was installed around the yard.
Install. Insu torusuru. Solar. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The solar panels were installed on the roof.
The solar energy was used to heat the water.
The solar lights were used to illuminate the garden.
The solar system was studied in the astronomy class.
The solar flare was observed by the astronomers.
Solar. Taiyo no. Obey. Kano Tango no Imi wa Nandesho.
The soldiers obeyed the command.
The children obeyed their parents.
The dog obeyed its master.
The traffic obeyed the traffic lights.
The law must be obeyed.
Obey. Shitaga u. Fluent. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The speaker was fluent and the audience was impressed.
The interpreter was fluent and the communication was facilitated.
The student was fluent and the teacher was proud.
The traveler was fluent and the culture was understood.
The diplomat was fluent and the negotiations were successful.
Fluent. Ryucho na. Specificity. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The specificity of the instructions.
The specificity of the diagnosis.
The specificity of the design.
The specificity of the target.
The specificity of the plan.
Specificity. Tokui sei. Staircase. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The staircase led to the second floor.
The staircase led to the roof.
The staircase led to the basement.
The staircase led to the garden.
The staircase led to the pool.
Staircase. Kaidan. Countless. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The stars were countless and the sky was brilliant.
The options were countless and the choice was difficult.
The problems were countless and the solutions were elusive.
The opportunities were countless and the potential was unlimited.
The moments were countless and the memories were precious.
Countless. Musu no. Stimulus. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The stimulus for the project was a need for change.
The stimulus for the economy was a new policy.
The stimulus for the research was a new discovery.
The stimulus for the creativity was the challenge.
The stimulus for the debate was a new law.
Stimulus. Shigechi. Credence. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The story lacked credence.
The evidence gave credence to the theory.
The testimony gave credence to the allegations.
The argument lacked credence.
The claim had little credence.
Credence. Shinyo. Task. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The task was assigned and the deadline was approaching.
The task was difficult and the challenge was accepted.
The task was completed and the reward was earned.
The task was repetitive and the boredom was overwhelming.
The task was delegated and the responsibility was shared.
Task. Shigoto. Instruct. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The teacher instructed the students in math.
The coach instructed the team in strategy.
The manual instructed the user in how to use the device.
The guide instructed the tourists in the history of the city.
The parent instructed the child in how to behave.
Instruct. Shidosuru. Maximum. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The temperature reached its maximum.
The volume was set to its maximum.
The weight was at its maximum.
The speed was at its maximum.
The pressure was at its maximum.
Maximum. Side-eye no. Differ. Kano tango no imi wa, nandesho.
The two samples differ in composition.
The two theories differ.
The two plans differ in detail.
Their opinions differ on the matter.
The two versions of the story differ.
Differ. Kotonaru. Infinite. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The universe is infinite.
Love is infinite.
The possibilities are infinite.
The number of stars in the sky is infinite.
The amount of knowledge is infinite.
Infinite. Mugen no. Verbal. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The verbal agreement was made and the deal was sealed.
The verbal abuse was suffered and the anger was expressed.
The verbal communication was improved and the relationship was strengthened.
The verbal instructions were given and the work was completed.
The verbal expression was artistic and the talent was recognized.
Verbal. Kotoba ni yoru. Filter. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The water filter removed all the impurities.
The air filter keeps the air clean.
The filter removed the unwanted colors from the image.
The filter improved the quality of the sound.
The filter made the coffee taste better.
Filter. Fui ruta. Factor. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The weather was a factor in the decision.
The cost was a factor in the purchase.
The location was a factor in the selection.
The quality was a factor in the rating.
The timing was a factor in the success.
Factor. Yuin. Miserable. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The weather was miserable.
He felt miserable.
She looked miserable.
The living conditions were miserable.
The flight was miserable.
Miserable. Mijimena. Suspend. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
The work was suspended due to the rain.
The construction was suspended until further notice.
The rope was suspended from the ceiling.
The game was suspended because of the storm.
The license was suspended for 6 months.
Suspend. Chushisuru. Launch. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
They launched the new product at the event.
The company launched a new website.
The government launched a new program.
The rocket was launched into space.
The boat was launched into the water.
Launch. Uchiagaru. Traverse. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
They traversed the mountain to reach the other side.
She traversed the desert on her journey.
The river traversed the valley and flowed into the sea.
The road traversed the forest and led to the city.
The explorer traversed the jungle and discovered the ruin.
Traverse. Odansuru. Resource. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
Water is a valuable resource.
Oil is a valuable resource.
Coal is a valuable resource.
Gas is a valuable resource.
Electricity is a valuable resource.
Resource. Shigame. Survey. Kano tango no imi wa, nan desho.
We will survey the public to get their opinion on the new policy.
The company conducted a survey to gauge employee satisfaction.
The government survey found that crime rates have decreased in the city.
She surveyed the damage caused by the storm.
The scientists surveyed the area to study the local wildlife population.
Survey. Chosasuru.